Hey everyone, Alex here. Buckle up, because I'm about to tell you a story that'll make your hair stand on end and your heart pound like a drum solo. It all started on a seemingly ordinary Wednesday, the kind where the sun was a lazy bum in the sky and boredom gnawed at my insides. My girlfriend, Maya, and I were strolling down Elm Street, a quiet lane with old houses and shops. The sun beat down like a sleepy giant, and boredom buzzed around us like a fly. That's when we saw it, the curiosity cabinet. The shop was like a crooked finger pointing us in. Its sign creaked in the breeze, promising forgotten treasures in faded letters. Maya shivered, her brown eyes flickering at the boarded-up windows. "Alex," she whispered, barely audible. "This place gives me the creeps. Maybe we should keep walking." I, however, felt a tingle of excitement. Remember, I'm a curious fellow, and the thought of dusty antiques whispered stories of adventure. "Come on, Maya," I coaxed with a grin. "Imagine the cool stuff we might find. It'll be an adventure." She sighed, a hint of worry still etched on her face, but agreed nonetheless. Pushing open the weathered door, we were greeted by a creak that echoed like a groan. Stale air, thick with the smell of mothballs and forgotten memories, washed over us. Sunlight struggled to pierce the grimy windows, casting long, distorted shadows on the cluttered shelves. Ceilings hung heavy in the air, broken only by the rhythmic tick-tock of an ancient clock. Every crick of the floorboard sounded amplified, sending shivers down my spine even though it was a hot summer day. "This place gives me goosebumps," Maya mumbled, her hand tightening around mine. My bravado wavered a bit under her worried gaze. Maybe it wasn't the best idea, but the explorer in me wouldn't turn back now. We ventured deeper, navigating a maze of shelves overflowing with strange things. There were tarnished silver trinkets, chipped dolls with blank eyes staring into space, and faded photographs whispering silent stories from the walls. It felt like everything was watching us. An ornate music box with intricate carvings caught my eye. It promised a melody trapped inside. I wound it up, the gears protesting with a rusty groan. A beautiful yet sad tune filled the air, like a bittersweet memory. Maya stood beside me, her eyes reflecting the soft glow from the music box, a mix of wonder and unease in her gaze. Suddenly, a loud crash from the back of the shop shattered the quiet. We jumped, hearts pounding in our chests like trapped birds. A shelf overloaded with dusty trinkets had toppled, scattering objects across the floor. Curiosity sparked. I took Maya's hand and led her towards the source of the sound. "Let's check it out," I said, trying to sound braver than I felt. Maya's grip tightened, but she followed. As we went deeper, the air grew heavy and the shadows stretched longer. A faint whispering sound, barely audible at first, tickled at the edges of our hearing. It sounded like disembodied voices chanting in a strange language. Maya shivered, fear radiating from her. "Alex," she whimpered, "I don't like this one bit. Let's get out of here." But before we could turn back, something in the dusty corner caught my eye. Nestled there, looking patient, was a vintage gramophone with a chipped record beside it. The whispers seemed to intensify, swirling around the object like a hungry swarm. "Look at this," I exclaimed, momentarily forgetting Maya's fear. "Maybe it still works." Ignoring Maya's worried pleas, fueled by a sudden thrill of discovery, I placed the record on the gramophone and cranked the handle. A scratchy waltz filled the air, accompanied by a woman's raspy voice singing a haunting lullaby. As the music played, the shadows on the walls seemed to dance, morphing into grotesque shapes. The porcelain dolls on the shelves turned their vacant eyes towards us, their chipped faces seemingly twisting into grotesque grins. A cold breeze swept through the shop, rustling the pages of a dusty book nearby. Maya screamed, pointing at a faded photograph on the wall. It depicted a young girl with auburn hair, clutching a doll that looked eerily similar to one of the chipped dolls on the shelf. A single chilling word seemed to emanate from the photograph, echoing in the shop. "Help!" The whispers grew louder, morphing into a chorus of chilling voices. The air crackled with a strange energy, and the objects around us began to levitate. Panic surged through me, erasing the last remnants of curiosity. "Maya!" I yelled, grabbing her hand with a desperate grip. "We need to get out of here!" But the door wouldn't budge. I slammed my fist against the weathered wood, fear replacing the excitement that had moments ago fueled me. The whispers became a cacophony of shrieks and moans, the air growing colder with each passing second. Maya, her face pale and streaked with tears, pointed to a small, dusty window tucked away in a corner. It was our only hope. We scrambled towards it, pushing furniture aside, our every movement driven by sheer terror. The window was stuck shut, years of neglect making it stubborn. With a desperate heave, I managed to pry it open a crack. Relief flooded me, a fleeting spark of hope in the midst of the growing darkness. "Go, Maya!" I yelled, pushing her towards the opening. "Climb out. I'll hold them off." "No, Alex!" she screamed, her voice filled with defiance. "We leave together, or not at all." Tears welled up in my eyes, a testament to her fierce loyalty. But time was running out. The whispers were growing louder, the air crackling with malevolent energy. "There's no time to argue!" I barked, shoving her towards the window. "Go! Get help! Tell someone about this place!" Hesitation flickered across her face, then she steeled herself. With a final tearful look at me, she squeezed my hand one last time and disappeared through the narrow opening. A surge of despair washed over me as I watched her go. The fear of being alone was a cold, clammy hand gripping my heart. I turned to face the darkness, the shadows swirling with unseen menace. "You want to play?" I yelled, my voice hoarse with defiance. "Come on then, let's see what you've got." The whispers intensified, morphing into a cacophony of shrieks and moans. The antique objects levitated off the shelves, hurtling towards me like malevolent projectiles. I ducked and weaved, adrenaline pumping through my veins, fear replaced by a fierce determination to survive. A tarnished silver candelabra grazed my shoulder, drawing a sharp cry of pain. I grabbed a heavy book from a nearby shelf, brandishing it like a weapon. It was a feeble defense against the onslaught, but it gave me a sliver of hope. As I fought for my life, a memory flickered across my mind. The faded photograph clutched in the locket, the girl with auburn hair, and the familiar doll. A desperate plan formed in my head. I sprinted towards the dusty tapestry, ignoring the objects flying past me. The whispers seemed to taunt me, their voices swirling around me like a malevolent storm. With a final burst of strength, I reached the tapestry and ripped it from the wall. As the fabric tore, a blinding light erupted, momentarily engulfing the shop. The whispers cut out abruptly, replaced by an eerie silence. When the light faded, I found myself standing in a cold, dusty room. The antique shop was gone, replaced by a boarded-up storefront. The only remaining evidence of the terrifying ordeal was the tattered tapestry in my hand. Confusion and relief warred within me. Was it all a nightmare? Had the shop simply vanished? Suddenly, a voice, weak but familiar, echoed from behind the boarded-up window. "Alex, is that you?" My heart leapt into my throat. It was Maya. Relief flooded through me, washing away the remnants of fear. I stumbled towards the voice, ripping away the boards with a newfound strength. There she was, bruised and battered but alive. Tears streamed down her face as she threw her arms around me. We held each other tightly, the silent understanding of the shared terror passing between us. When we finally pulled back, Maya pointed at a small plaque on the boarded-up window. It read, "The Curiosity Cabinet, closed for renovations." But the date beneath was unsettling. It referred to a year decades in the past. A shiver ran down my spine. The shop wasn't simply closed, it had vanished, taking the entity with it. But had we truly defeated it, or had it simply retreated, waiting for an opportune moment to return? The questions lingered, a chilling reminder of the darkness we had encountered. The shop was gone, but the entity's whispers echoed faintly in the recesses of my mind. Had we truly defeated it, or had it simply retreated, waiting for an opportune moment to return? The weight of the unknown settled heavily upon us, but for now, we were alive. We had each other, and that was all that mattered. We walked away from the boarded-up storefront, hand in hand. The weight of the experience hung heavy in the air, a silent vow passing between us never to speak of the curiosity cabinet again. Days turned into weeks, then months. Maya and I tried to return to normalcy, but the memory of the whispers and the chilling encounter lingered. Every now and then, I'd catch Maya staring into space, a flicker of fear in her eyes. One evening, while sorting through some old photographs, a faded image sent a jolt through me. It was the same photograph from the shop wall, the young girl with auburn hair clutching the doll. But this time, something was different. Inscribed on the back in faded ink were the words, "Help me escape." The blue drained from my face. The whispers, they weren't coming from the shop. They were coming from something else entirely. Panic surged through me. The entity might be gone, but the girl in the photograph, she was trapped. We couldn't ignore it. We had to find a way to help her. That night, fueled by a renewed sense of purpose, I began researching the history of the shop and the surrounding area. I delved into local folklore and historical archives, searching for any clues that might lead us to the girl's identity or the source of the entity. Days bled into weeks, the mystery deepening with each passing hour. Yet, we couldn't give up. The girl's pleading eyes stared back at me from the photograph, a constant reminder of the unfinished business. This was just the beginning. Our encounter with the curiosity cabinet had opened a door to a darkness we never knew existed. We had escaped with our lives, but the fight was far from over. The whispers may have faded, but a new mystery beckoned, urging us to delve deeper into the shadows.